All right, in this video, if you're a beginner or intermediate in Spanish, I'm gonna show you something that's gonna be a game changer for you if you're not already doing it. They don't teach you to do this anywhere, but it's something I did and I made crazy progress doing this. What am I talking about? What's the game changer? Well, as you can see in the screen, it's verbs, but not conjugating verbs, not memorizing the irregular verbs, but instead learning the infinitives. If you are a beginner and you are reading Spanish and you're trying to understand what they're saying, if you haven't noticed yet, the thing that stops you most of the time isn't a preposition that you don't know. It's not an adjective that you don't know. It's usually a verb. You don't know what action they're describing, and just that one piece out of the whole sentence throws off all the meaning and you don't know what the person's saying. And realistically, I like to teach Spanish in a way where it's more practical. So what I say is ignore the conjugations at the beginning when you don't know them, but you can still practice by saying the infinitive of the verb. So if, instead of saying yo quiero, if you're at a level where you don't know how to conjugate quiero, then at least just say yo querer hacer algo. Practice with the little that you know and drill these infinitives in, and it's gonna change the game for you, I'm telling you. So how did I do this? I just Googled list of Spanish verbs and looked for verbs I didn't know. So at the beginning, it was list of the most 100 common verbs, and I just memorized that list. And throughout my journey, I've done this many times, and now I'm at a point where I'm fluent in Spanish, but this has probably been the biggest game changer for me along the way. Now, the one bad thing is that it's just memorizing a list, which is tedious. And I also like to tell people that it's more important that you're doing something that's at least that you can stick to than to do something that's perfectly effective but you won't stick to. So if memorizing a list is too boring for you to stick to, then hopefully my solution will help with that. The better way is to turn it into a game. If you have a game of guessing 100 verbs and you keep trying to beat your previous high score, well, you're gonna eventually beat that high score, and then you're gonna beat that high score, and then you're gonna beat that high score. And eventually you're gonna get to a point where you know all 100 of the most common verbs, and then you can learn the 200 most common, 300 most common verbs, and keep expanding your vocabulary. And specifically, verbs are really a game changer when it comes to your vocabulary, because if you put me in a kitchen right now and told me to explain all the different nouns, like the kitchen countertop, not explain the different nouns, but like tell you how to say kitchen countertop, how to say oven, fridge, maybe fridge I would know, but the other ones, most things in the kitchen, I wouldn't be able to name them. I don't actually know the names of most things. Yet it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because if I need to name something, I can just explain it. You can explain to someone what an oven is. If you're already talking about the context of a kitchen, what's more important is that you know the most common adjectives and the most common verbs. The nouns themselves you can explain using adjectives and verbs. So verbs, trust me, this is the game changer. So turn it into a game, try and keep beating your previous score. Now, to make this easier for you, I've actually put together a document of the most common verbs. You can check it out in the description. The first thing you see is the verb in Spanish, along with an associated image for you to be able to guess what it means. And then you can guess and go down to the next page and see whether you were right or not. You can see what the verb actually means in English. So there's two benefits to this. One, you can treat it like a game, see how many you can guess right. But the other huge benefit is that especially if you're a beginner and you haven't associated the verb with the English translation, if you start by associating the picture of the verb, so like a person running, you associate that with the word correr rather than to run with the word correr, you're gonna have a lot easier of a time recalling the word when you're talking to someone in Spanish. Because the way we talk is we imagine what we're trying to say, even if we're not consciously aware of it, but we imagine what we're trying to say. And if you have the picture of a person running in your mind, and from that you can recall the word correr, you're gonna be a lot quicker than the person who has to calculate and translate I ran, yo corré, right? I'm not asking for anything in return. You don't have to give me your email or anything. I just think it's a really good document for you to check out, so please make use of it. So I'll give you an example of how it works. I mean, it's super simple, but I have three verbs here. So the first one is correr. Obviously, I just went over that one. That's running. So we'll go to the next one. Ayudar. Based on the picture, what would you guess? Pause the video if you need it, but here's our countdown, and the verb means to help. And then the last one is esperar, which you can tell by the picture, or maybe you can't tell, but the verb means to wait. And that's basically what I put together in the document in the description. And it'll really help you with your Spanish, so please make use of it and make some progress in your Spanish. Anyways, that's it for this video. I hope you got something of value. Thank you for watching. Take care.